Hey, what is going on, you cross-eyed corefish? Today I'm coming at you with a fun one, or could it be competitive? I hope so. We got the new Tyranitar here, the Menacing Gaze ability. We've seen it before in the PokemonTCG, and it's always been pretty powerful. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent can't play any item cards from his or her hand. So completely taking away items from your opponent is pretty good, but that's not a win condition. You got to back it up with the win condition. The win condition is, with this deck, is to still draw prize cards through its attack, the Cracking Stomp for 150 damage for a dark and a colorless, and you discard the top two cards of your opponent's deck. So theoretically, kind of like a pseudo mill deck, I guess, as well. But the big win condition is still just going to be trying to draw 6 prize cards, Cracking Stomp after Cracking Stomp. So I got a 4-2-3 Tyranitar line here because we gotta play one of the other Tyranitars, because if we don't have a way to deal with fighting Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. So we need one of these Tyranitars, which through the route, depending on how many bench Pokemon they have in play, or through the Dread Mountain, we can 1-hit KO or 2-hit KO, or even 1-hit KO with the route, depending on if they have a ton of bench Pokemon with like an Area 0 in play, a Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. So we need this other T-Tar. I didn't really want to play it, but Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon is like a really annoying card next format, it seems. So you kind of have to have an answer for that. And we do with this secondary Tyranitar. So we got a 4-2-4 Tyranitar line here, or a 4-2-3-1. Pidgeotto deck, Pidgeot deck, not Pidgeotto. We have no Pidgeottos in here. We have Pidgeys and Pidgeots. 2-0-2 Pidgeot. And of course we got 2 Budew in here, because we're not just trying to item lock with T-Tar, because you can't get T-Tar in play on the first turn of the game. So Budew does the heavy lifting in the early game to slow our opponent down, take away their items, and ideally, we want to take away our opponent's items for the full game. Of course, once we finally do get into our Tyranitar, if they boss around it, they will get access to items for that turn. The cool thing, though, is with T-Tar shutting down items, they can't use stuff like Counter Catcher or Prime Catcher, because those are item cards, to get around T-Tar to play more item cards, because that would be cheating. They can still use Boss's Orders, of course, which basically every deck plays. And another thing that every deck plays, and we're playing it as well, Pheasantipede EX. We also have a Klefki in here. I don't know if this is actually worth it. Klefki definitely isn't as powerful next format as it is currently, but there's still a lot of Squawkabillies and stuff like that running around, so I went ahead and threw it in here. If we go up against a deck, we're going first, they're going second, we want to slow them down a little bit. We can do some Klefki shenanigans. I guess also decks like people playing a lot of Pecharunt Cheese in decks right now, so this will like kind of slow that down as well. So one of Klefki, slow them down if we're going first. Ideally, we're picking second, because not only do we have the Budew to use, but we are an Arven deck, which are generally slower decks that want to go second to set up. For Arven, every deck's an Arven deck. 3 Iona, 1 Boss for the supporters, 4 Rare Candy, of course. And it does cost a Dark and a colorless energy to attack with the Tyranitar. Dark Patch does rotate, so I don't think manual attachments are quite enough for the Tyranitar. So I have 2 counter gain in here and 2 EXP share, so we can fall behind initially, potentially, the KOR Budew first. Then we Candy T-Tar or evolve up to it through the Pupitar. I do play 2 Pupitar because like just consistently going from T-Tar to T-Tar seems so important. And then we go like Dark Energy plus counter gain to attack, and then we get EXP share potentially on a benched Larvitar, and then we can start to chain together our T-Tars from there. Is the thought process as far as the energy acceleration goes. One card that I don't play in here is the Neo Energy, Neo Upper Energy A-Spec. I also don't play Reversal Energy, which could also be pretty good. But yeah, I'm opting for the counter gain and the EXP share, specifically not playing the Neo Upper Energy because I want to play the Neutralization Zone. Prevent all damage done to Pokemon that don't have a rule box. Or prevent all damage done to your prevent all damage done to Pokemon that don't have a rule box by your opponent's Pokemon that do have a rule box. That's what the card does. I didn't remember it. And yeah, I really like the idea of the Neutralization Zone because we're putting a lot of pressure on them with item locking them. It's also going to be long games where we can hopefully mill quite a few cards with the attack. We're discarding 2 cards off the top of our opponent's deck with every attack. And then our opponent's drawing 1 prize card turn to turn, but if we can slow that down even further, get the Neutralization Zone in play with like a late game Iono, item locking them as well, limiting their access to cards on their side. They might not be able to find a bump for it. Maybe just kind of like a setup A-Spec would be a little bit better, like a Trolley or something like that, or maybe even an Unfair Stand for a little bit more early game disruption. Even if our opponent can't knock out our T-Tars, slowing them down that much further with like Unfair Stand plus item lock could be the way to go instead. But I like the idea of the Neutralization Zone, so I got that in here for right now. And then, like I said, EXP shares and the counter gains are how we get energy in play. Reversal Energy could still be good. Like Neo Upper Energy, we obviously can't play because we have Neutralization Zone, but we could play Reversal Energy still. I'm just kind of all in on the tools right now, but we could switch it up a little bit. The cool thing about the tools is we can Arven for the tool cards. But basically, to find reversal energy, you have to quick search for it. So it eats up our quick search for the turn, which I don't like the idea of when Arvin can just find us counter gains and EXP shares and stuff like that. 2 Artisan in here for a little bit extra Pokemon search, plus a Stadium bump as well. 1 rescue board, of course. Maybe we go up to 2 of this so we can just make sure we can get into our Budew on that first turn of the game. I could see that being worth it, to be honest. Only 1 Super Rod for recovery. We got some counter catches. We do plan on falling behind early and probably at other points throughout the game as well. 4 Buddy Puffin, 4 Ultra Ball, and a couple of vessels to help us find our energy. And that's it. That's the T-Tar build with the Pidgeot engine. It's possible we want to go away from the 2 prize engine of the Pidgeot, but honestly, I don't even know what we'd play at that point. Maybe to Dunsparce, but to Dunsparce is so mid. Definitely going to try and make it work with the Pidgeot to begin with. But that is the new T-Tar from Journey Together. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below, and I'll see y'all in the next one.